happened with my DOT physical yesterday. There was a lot of things that led up to the led up to my results, to my
Spit it, but I switch them up. Guaranteed I lift them up. Keep it going, flowing, but it's never to stop. Better the top. Keep it going, get it. I did it. I'm in the Civic like. We can vibe, we can ride, we can chill though. It's a vibe, come inside, how we feel though. We can vibe, we can ride, we can chill though. It's a vibe, come inside, how we feel though. We can vibe, we can ride, we can chill though. It's a vibe, come inside, how we feel though. We can vibe, we can ride, we can chill though. It's a vibe, come inside, how we feel though. We can vibe, we can ride, we can chill though. It's a vibe, come inside, how we feel though. We can vibe, we can ride, we can chill though. It's a vibe, come inside, how we
physical yesterday. Now, I started the day out because I knew I was gonna take my physical. I knew what time I was taking my physical, and I knew. Well, let me say that I was aware that I was taking a physical yesterday, and I was aware of what time I was taking my physical, and I was also aware where I was going to take my physical. So I started my day out yesterday exercising. I exercised before I went to my physical, and I was calm and I was ready to take my physical. Now, there were certain events that happened as I was going to my job to take my physical. Now, as I was leaving and I was going towards Now, as I was leaving to go to my job to get the paperwork and then to go over some on the highway heading to my job, I fucking ran. And this is funny, and this is real funny, and it's weird. It's like it was like it was meant for me to. It was like somebody was trying to stop me from going to my physical. Now, I'm leaving home. I'm heading towards my job. I decided to charge my cell phone. To want to charge my cell phone. I knew I would probably be at the place where I'm taking my physical at for like an hour or so, or hour or two. So like, okay, I'm driving down the highway. I decided to pull over on the shoulder and get my charger and charge my phone. Plug it in and charge my phone. So okay. So I'm driving down the highway, decide to pull over. And when I pulled over, not even realizing it, I pulled over and I drove over a nail. Crazy, huh? I just happened to pull over on the side of the road and drive over a nail at that particular time. So I'm like 30 minutes because my job wanted me to be there at 1:00. So I was about 30 minutes away from my job, and I took a shower, cleaned myself up, got my work clothes on, feeling good, ready to go take my DOT physical. So I'm driving down the highway, decided I wanted to charge my phone, pull over, and as I was pulling over, I drove over a nail. So I was like, okay. Didn't realize I drove over a nail. I just pulled over and got my cell phone charged and start charging my phone. So I get back on the highway, right? I'm hearing this noise. I just hear this noise while I'm driving. It's going toot 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 toot. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's the car next to me, cause I know I got like almost brand new tires on my damn car. So I'm driving and driving and driving. I'm constantly hearing, and I can feel it, and I can feel something in the steering wheel. Like I can feel something in the steering wheel jerking the steering wheel a little bit, rattling the steering wheel. So I'm driving and driving and driving, and I'm hearing, I'm feeling the steering wheel jiggle like that. So I'm like, maybe it's just my nerves. Or maybe it's just the noise is coming from another car, because there are older cars passing me and stuff like that. So I kind of figured it was them, one of them. So I let down the window. I'm driving, and as I'm driving, another car passes me. And I'm thinking the noise was coming from him, but the noise was actually coming from me. So I'm driving. I'm hearing the shaking and stuff like that, and I'm hearing the noise even more. So I pull over to the side of the road, check my tires, put my hands over the tires like this, and started doing like this on the tire. When I did that the first time, I didn't feel anything. So I'm like, okay, maybe the nail is on the bottom side of the tire that's on the ground right now. So I'm like, okay, pull forward, and then next pull forward, and then hopped out, and again. And when I did it again, I found the nail sitting right at the top of the tire. So I'm like, okay, this is messed up. I'm like, I literally, probably just put that particular tire, probably like 3-4 months ago, probably 5 months ago. So I'm like, okay, got a flat tire. Got a nail in the tire. When I just go ahead and pull it out. So as I'm trying to pull the nail out of the tire, a cop pulls up on me. Female officer pulls up on me. She pulls up on me out of nowhere. She didn't give me no notice that she was there. She just showed up. So I'm sitting there trying to get the nail out of my tire, and as you know, I hear this voice coming from somewhere. I look up, it's a fucking police officer. She's standing in that pose like she ready to grab her gun and fire off. And I'm looking at her, and she looking at me, and she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." Cause I had my work shirt on, so she knew who I worked for and where I was heading to. Cause the name of the company is on my shirt. So she looking at me, I'm looking at her, and she asking me questions, and she was asking me questions like, where am I going? And I told her, am I alright? And I was like, yeah, I'm alright. I just got a nail stuck in my tire. Like, I pulled over to the side of the road to put my cell phone, to charge my phone. And then when I pulled over, not realizing that I ran over a nail. And she was like, you did? She was like, you did? I'm like, yeah. I pulled over to the side of the road to charge my phone and ran over a nail. And she was like, that happens to us all the time. I'm like, okay. And then she walked around and she looked at the tire, and I showed her where the nail was, and she was like, at this moment, I would just leave that in there and then just go to where you're going to and fix it when you get there. And I was like, right, I should do that. So I did that. I left the nail in, and I drove it to my job. And as I was driving to my job, the head part of the nail broke off somewhere. It broke off while I was on the highway. So I'm driving down the highway, and I had like a little feeling in my steering wheel like this. It went from like this to being just straight clear, straight clear driving down the highway. So I'm like, okay, maybe the nail came out of the tire from one of these fucking soft parts in the highway. Maybe the nail got caught on one of the soft parts in the highway, and it just ripped it on out there. So I made it to my job, and as I made it to my job, and hopped out of the car and went into the office. Before I got into the office, I noticed that my tire was losing air. My tire was losing air. So I had to make a quick decision. I had to make a quick decision real fast on what I was gonna do with my tire. So I went inside the office, telling them what happened, about me getting the nail stuck in my tire from just pulling off to the side of the road and wanting to charge my cell phone. I was telling them about that, and we were laughing and joking and stuff like that. And they gave me my paperwork to go take my physical. So I got the paperwork. I'm heading out there to my physical. I called my insurance company, Roadside Service. So I called Roadside. I called my company. I called my insurance company, Roadside Service, and they told me they were gonna come out and come fix my car. So I went ahead, went to my physical, parked my car somewhere. Well, parked my car in the front where the service technician would be able to have easier access to my car and to my tire. So as I'm on the phone with my with Roadside Service, I was telling them that I'm in the middle. I'm at the place where I got to get my DOT physical done, and I'm a truck driver. So if he shows up and I'm not here, I'm inside the building getting my physical done. And she was like, okay. And I told her I was gonna put my spare tire on top of the car, and can he put my rim on top of the car when he's all finished, and then when I come out, I can just put my rim inside the trunk, and I can go on about my business. And she was like, yeah, I'll let him know that. And I'm like, okay. So I go inside the building. Check in and all that stuff, and then they got me in there. They got me in real fast. So I wasn't there no longer than probably like waiting. I was probably waiting for about 15, 20 minutes. Waiting about 15, 20 minutes. So I'm sitting there waiting 15, 20 minutes, and then she calls me back. So I go through the normal bull crap the truck drivers go through. You got to get your hearing checked. You got to get your vision checked. You got to get your hearing, your vision checked, and your mobility checked. Like you have to do certain procedures and stuff like that. Like bend over and touch your toes, or read out the lowest letter in a sentence or something like that. Just a normal ear check and sight check for your eyes. So I did all that, passed it, no problems, because obviously I wear glasses and obviously I keep my ears clean. So I did all that. All at the same time, taking phone calls from their service technician that's supposed to come out and do my tire on my car. So he calls me and he tells me, and mind you, this is all in the same time of me getting ready to literally, this is all at the same time of me in the middle of taking my physical. All this is going on at the same time. So I'm talking to the guy on the phone, trying to explain to him where I'm at. And at the same time, I'm doing my requirements for my DOT physical. So it was just ridiculous. Like, it was just really, really ridiculous how my physical went down yesterday, because I should have rescheduled that. But I couldn't reschedule it because my physical was due on the 6th. And the 6th is on Sunday. So either I would have got it done on Friday, or I would have been disqualified from driving until I got it done. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm trying to talk to the service technician, let him know where I'm at, and I'm also trying to do my DOT physical. So I told the guy where I'm at. He said, okay. And then I go back into the room. I go back into the room with the doctor, and she asked me all these questions and stuff like that. Do I smoke? Do I drink? Uh, what type of medications I take and all that stuff. And I was telling her I take nothing. I don't take any medications. I don't smoke. If I have a beer, it's like 1 or 2 beers after work or something. And just more questions that more questions that fall along in the category of DOT physical. And so right in the middle of me, right in the middle of me being with the doctor as she's doing my DOT physical, I'm constantly getting phone calls from the service technician asking me where am I at, where am I at, where am I at, and I'm telling him exactly where I'm at. I was telling him I'm in the plaza. I was telling him what plaza I was in. I was telling him what's around the plaza that I was in, and he still couldn't make it to me. So I called back. I called back State Farm roadside service, and they told me that the guy that was supposed to come out, he canceled. And they tell me this stuff right of me taking my DOT physical. Blood pressure rising, stress level rising. Then on top of that, I still have to go back to work after I get my physical done. So a lot of things was taking place yesterday. I was getting really, really stressed out, and quite frankly, feeling my blood pressure going up. So I'm on the phone. With the service technician. Well, I'm on the phone with State Farm roadside service, and and also I'm trying to take my DOT physical at the same time. So when they told me that the guy was supposed to come out, they rescheduled it, and then they were supposed to send somebody out from the same company to come change my tire. And then they told me, my insurance company, State Farm, told me that that the guy was not coming out because what did he say? He said he wasn't coming out because I think it was because he couldn't find me or something like that. Yeah, the first guy couldn't come out. Because when I put in use my current location in the State Farm app, it gave him the wrong to go to. So he was on the other side of the town. And I live in Buffalo, New York. So they sent him an address, but it was an address town, nowhere near where I was at. So he canceled for that one. He canceled because he couldn't find out where I was at because the app generated him the wrong address. And then the second technician from the same company canceled because he couldn't find me. And I was telling him where I was at, and he still couldn't find me. So like, okay, I wasn't too surprised about him canceling because it gets to the point when you sitting there telling somebody over the phone where you at and what's surrounding you in the area, they should be able to find you like right away, but they were having complications. Now, the third guy that came out after State Farm booked it for me, the third guy that came out, he called me before he got there. He called me before he got to me. So when he called me, he hung up. He actually hung up the phone. When he called me, he accidentally hung up the phone with me when I was trying to talk to him. And then so I tried to call him back like 4 times. The first 3 times when I called him, he didn't pick up the phone. The 4th time when I called him, he picked up the phone right away, and he told me he was like about 12 to 11 minutes away from me. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get everything ready. So I'm sitting there looking around and stuff. I'm looking around, trying to figure out where this guy's at, cause when you getting like service done to your car or truck, cause I'm a truck driver. When you get any type of service done to your car or your truck, you looking for a service truck to come. So I'm sitting there looking around. I'm looking around, stuff like that, and I'm wondering, where the hell is the service truck? So I called the guy back, and I asked him, like, look, where are you? He was like, I'm 12 minutes away. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking and looking and looking for a service truck, and then next thing you know, this Dodge Magnum, the Dodge Magnum with the station wagon in the back, one of those. This Dodge Magnum with a station wagon on the back pulls up beside me. So he pulled up beside me, and he started taking tools out of his car, like a jack, the 4-iron, some gloves, the jacket and stuff like that, because it was kind of raining where I was at. So this Dodge Magnum hatchback pulls up next to me as I'm sitting here looking for a service truck to come fix my tire. The dude who was actually supposed to come out to fix my tire is right here in this Dodge Magnum hatchback. So I'm sitting there looking at this dude like, damn, this is so unprofessional. Like triple A really schedule you like this? And I'm like, you don't even have a fucking service truck. Like, you literally don't have a service truck. So I asked him. He's like, who are you? I asked him, who are you? He was like, I'm the guy who's supposed to come fix your tire. I'm like, okay. What company you with? He told me what company he was with and stuff like that. And then what else did we do? Oh yeah, I asked him what company he was with, and he told me what company he was with. And then I also asked him, I was like, hey, are you an LLC? And he was like, yeah, I'm an LLC. He was like, yeah, I'm a starter up business. So I'm like, okay, I can understand why you don't have a service truck, because you a brand new LLC. So I was like, okay. So I started talking to him, and he was like, I'm a brand new LLC, but I work for a small business. And he was telling me that his boss, the guy who owns the company, sent me out so I can get experience with dealing with the customers and changing tires and all that stuff with the customers and stuff like that. So technically he's a small business owner, a small business owner in training, as you might say. So he's building up his reputation by doing jobs with a larger company. So like, okay, I can understand that. I can understand that you're a small LLC and you're working for a bigger company and you're just trying to make a name for yourself that way. So okay, I understood that. So I'm sitting there talking to him. And you know what? At the end of the conversation, I ended up getting this brother's cell phone number. He was like, if you ever have a problem here in Buff or Niagara Falls, just hit me up and I come out. I got you. He was like, I got you. I'm like, okay, cool. Got his number, got the business name and everything. Like, even though he didn't look professional, he didn't show up with a service truck, or he didn't show up with no technician gear on, and he didn't have a technician with professional type tools. He conducted himself in a professional and business way, and from that perspective, I got his number, his business name, and I told him if anything comes up, I'll call him. You're like, cool. So back to my DOT physical. back to my DOT physical. I'm in my physical. I'm in the room with the doctor, getting ready to take my DOT physical, and she asked me all these questions and all this stuff, and then she took my blood pressure. Now, she tried to take my blood pressure in my wrist. She tried to take it in my wrist, and I straight up told her, no, I don't want you taking it in my wrist. I want you taking it in my arm. And she was like, well, it's the same thing. I'm like, okay. You say it's the same thing. I'm not sure if it's the same thing or not. So I would prefer you to just take my blood pressure in my arm. She took my blood pressure in my arm, and she took my blood pressure readings in my arm, and she said my blood pressure was 170 over 100. So I'm like, okay, 170 over 100. I'm like, wow, that's pretty damn high. And I was like, is this probably something? I'm like, that can't be right. My blood pressure had never been that high before. Like, I know that I have stage 1 hypertension. Like, I'm aware of that. So I'm aware that I have stage 1 hypertension. So I do things. I do things and stay away from certain people so they won't piss me off and raise my blood pressure. So the woman is sitting there looking at me, and I'm sitting there looking at her, and I'm sitting there saying, that can't be right. My blood pressure can't be that damn high. So she was like, well, what happened throughout the day that caused your blood pressure to rise? And I was like, I'm dealing with phone calls from my service, the service technician that was supposed to come out, and I'm dealing with phone calls from State Farm, and then I'm dealing with you at the same time, because I caught a flat tire as I was coming out this way. So I'm dealing with all this stuff at the same time. I'm getting aggravated because at the moment, at that particular time, or at the particular moment, I'm sitting there on the phone telling the service technician guy where I'm at, and he's acting like, oh, I can't find you. And then the second guy just canceled. He didn't even call me. He just canceled. So I'm in the room with the damn doctor, getting my blood pressure checked. Phone ringing. I'm getting stressed the fuck out. I'm getting aggravated, and my blood pressure fucking shot through the roof. 170 over 100. And I was like, wow. Like, at first, when she told me that my blood pressure was that high, I didn't believe her. And I was like, you can't. And I was trying to tell her, you can't go off those readings because I'm fucking literally stressed the fuck out right now. Like, I'm worried about how the fuck I'm gonna get back to work because my tire is blown, or I got a nail in my tire and I got a flat tire. I'm worried about how my blood pressure is gonna be in this physical right now that I'm actually taking with you. I'm worried about a lot of stuff right here, right now. So I was like, is there some type of way I can reschedule this? Because this is insane. And she was like, no. And I was like, you won't let me reschedule this? Even though you know that I'm going through something right now? Like, you literally see me going through something right now and trying to handle it. And the stuff that I'm going through right now is raising my blood pressure. And she sees this, and she still wouldn't let me reschedule it. She said, this is what she said to me. This lady, this woman said to me, hey, I understand that you was going through something right now and it raised your blood pressure, but do you think DOT cares that you had a flat tire and you are stressed out about that? Do you think they care about that? And I'm looking at her, I'm like, yo, really? Really? You know that I'm going through something right here in front of you. You know I got a flat tire on my top. You know I got a flat tire on my car. You can see my car from the damn the building I was at. You can literally see my car from where from the building that I was at. You can see that I have a flat tire. You can see that I put my spare tire on top of the car for the surface technician. You can see all this stuff going on, and yet you're gonna sit there and say to me, "Oh, I understand that you're going through something right now, but do you really think DOT cares about you going through something right now to make your blood pressure go get this?" And I'm looking at this woman like, you biatch, you bitch. I'm like, you bitch. I literally looked at her. I'm saying to myself, you bitch. You know damn well I was not ready to take this DOT physical today. And she still went ahead and pushed on DOT physical, knowing damn motherfucking well I wasn't ready to take that physical. This bitch done gave me a 3-month DOT card. All because I had current events going on at the same damn time I'm taking my motherfucking physical. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, you bitch. I'm like, you done fucking just screwed me over again with my DOT physical. And I say again because it happened before. The same time last year. It was the same time last year in December that they screwed me over. The same time, the same month last year. They motherfucking gave me a 3-month DOT card saying my blood pressure was super high when my blood pressure wasn't high at all. They gave me a 3-month DOT card, which caused me to exercise my ass off for those 4 months. And I lost a lot of weight. For those 4 months, from December, January, February. No. My first physical last year, my physical was in September. It was in September. They gave me a 3-month DOT card in September. So I had to go back in December. So I was exercising from September, October, November, and then the first couple of days in December. For 4 motherfucking months. I lost weight. I stopped drinking beer. I was literally skinny as hell. I went from like 200 pounds. I went from like 200 and some pounds down to like 160, 170 in a little under 4 fucking months. I had a doctor at the time. The doctor was like, "Yo, you are very, very impressive. Whatever type of training you was doing, exercise you was doing, continue to do it." He was like, if you continue to lose weight and to lower your blood pressure like you are doing now, he was like, when you go take your DOT physical again, you may end up getting 2 years this time. And I was like, wow, like, really? You're like, yeah. You're like, if you continue to exercise and lose weight and managing your blood pressure, you will get 2 years. And I was like, okay. So I was continuing to exercise and monitoring my blood pressure. So I got a 1 year DOT card from the hospital, not the place that I went to at first to get my DOT physical. And when I went to the hospital, she took my blood pressure and she was like, your blood pressure is completely normal. She's like, the only reason I gotta give you a 1 year is because you got on your paperwork that you take blood pressure pills. And I was like, okay, that's fair enough. That's fair. She was like, because I was explaining to her that when I went to go when I took my physical in September, they gave me a 3-month DOT card saying that my blood pressure was really, really high. And then when I took it again 3 months later, they said that my blood pressure was completely normal, and that they have never seen anybody lose so much weight in 4 months like that before. And she couldn't figure out why they gave me a 3-month DOT card when my blood pressure was normal for someone who has hypertension. It was like 140 over 90 or some shit like that. Like the top one, my top number was in like the 138 to 140, which is normal for someone who has hypertension, stage 1 hypertension, which is completely normal. I just have to continue to just manage it. So my top number was between 138 and 140. My bottom number was like in the low 80s, the low 70s and 80s and stuff like that. So she was like, you had high blood pressure? And I was like, yeah, I had high blood pressure. I got it. And she was like, well, I'm looking at your readings and your blood pressure is not that high, sir. And she was like, I have no idea why they gave you a 3-month DOT card when your blood pressure is like normal for someone who has hypertension. Like your blood pressure is like really, really low and normal for someone who has hypertension. And she was like, I completely apologize to you for what they did to you. Now fast forward now a year later, in the same time in December, and these motherfuckers did the same damn thing they did at first. They gave me a 3-month DOT card. So now I have to go back through another fucking crazy ass training, crazy ass exercising that I did last year to lose all that weight and to lower my blood pressure again this year. For 4 months straight now. I have to do that again. Also, I have to go back to my doctor and have him write me a letter or recommendation saying that my blood pressure is normal before I go back and take my DOT physical test again. So I have to do all this stuff again just to prove to these motherfuckers that my blood pressure is normal and I'm managing my blood pressure. All of this because a woman at the fucking clinic wanted to be a jackass. I'm like, yesterday was so damn stressful for me. I was getting ready to call my dispatcher and tell my dispatcher, hey, I might as well just take the damn day off because I'm too damn stressed the fuck out to work. Like, I exercised and I ate a proper breakfast before I went and took my DOT physical. And they still said that my blood pressure was high as hell. Now, my wife is a CNA. She take blood pressure readings all the motherfucking time at work. I had her take my blood pressure. She said my blood pressure was high, but it wasn't no 170 over 100 type high. That shit was like mid 60s on top and like low 90s or some shit like that. And she was like, it's high, but it ain't that damn high. So I was like, okay. I go back and start exercising again and losing weight and stuff like that. And then I proved them wrong that they was fuckers. They were acting like a jackass. So that's my story with my DOT physical. Oh, and another thing too. When I was sitting there, when I was waiting, when I was on the phone with roadside service to come fix my car or fix my tire, the first technician canceled because he had the wrong address. The second technician canceled because he couldn't find me. Now, as I'm sitting there, cause I took my DOT physical, I got it all done and over with. I'm outside of my car calling State Farm and calling the guys who's supposed to come out and fix my car. And the first two guys never showed up. So I'm sitting there outside in my car with a flat tire in this plaza in front of everybody, waiting for a service technician to come out. I got done with my physical at 3 o'clock. I didn't leave that little plaza that I was at until about close to like a little bit after 5. I didn't leave until a little bit after 5. So I sat there for 2 hours and probably 15-20 minutes waiting for someone to come out and fix my tire. I waited so damn long, I had them thoughts of getting out there motherfucking changing it myself. Like, I had no problem with changing no tires, doing brakes, doing oil changes, because I used to do that shit when I was younger. But I have it in my mind, I'm paying for roadside service. Why the fuck am I gonna get out and do that shit myself if I'm paying for it and it's free? It only cost me $4 a month for my motherfucking roadside assistance. So I was like, if I'm paying for it, I might as well just use that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, I'm a young professional man with a professional career. Why not? Why I just won't use what the fuck I'm paying for? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, why don't I just use it? So I'm sitting there waiting for 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes, waiting for the guy, getting fucking pissed off in my car, getting stressed the fuck out. Fucking, I was supposed to be at work at 5 o'clock. It's a little bit after fucking 5 o'clock. Dispatcher getting ready to fucking call me and shit, asking me where I'm at. I was literally going through some shit yesterday. Like, literally going through some shit yesterday. Like, yesterday was Friday. December 4th was crazy for me yesterday. It was crazy as hell yesterday. Like, it was insane yesterday, the what I went through. I fucking leave the house. I leave my house at 12, expecting on getting to my job at 1. Didn't work out that well because I had a fucking flat tire before I even got there. Then turn back around. Had a horrible experience at the clinic that I was at to get my DOT physical done. Then on top of that, had a horrible experience with the technicians that's supposed to came out and fix my tire. Then on top of that, had a horrible ass experience of me waiting 2 hours and 15 to 20 minutes for a service technician to come out, and I'm practically like probably 15-20 minutes late to work, all at the same motherfucking time. All this stuff is going on all at once, and as I'm sitting in my motherfucking car, not even thinking about my blood pressure. My blood pressure probably was shooting through the roof yesterday. I was literally going through some shit yesterday. I was going through some shit yesterday. I took a motherfucking DOT physical test yesterday that I shouldn't even took, because for one, I had a flat tire, which stressed me out and raised my blood pressure. For two, I was getting phone calls in the middle of me taking my DOT physical test, which caused the doctor to stop, leave out of the room, and then come back into the room, stop, and leave out of the room again and come back into the room. And then me explaining to the technician where I was at and all this stuff. I was so motherfucking fucked up yesterday. It wasn't even funny. It was nuts yesterday for me. Yesterday. It was crazy yesterday for me. I was literally going through some shit yesterday. From the hours of 12:30 to fucking 5:15 to 5:20, I was literally going through some shit yesterday. Literally going through some shit. I went through some shit yesterday. And this shit wasn't even funny. And then on top of that, I get to work. I get back to work after the technician showed up. Well, he wasn't even a technician. He didn't have no uniform on. He didn't have a service truck. He hopped out of that motherfucker with a white t-shirt on, some damn jogging pants, and some unprofessional ass fucking tools. And I'm looking at this dude like, who the fuck is this parking up next to me? Just unprofessional as hell. His appearance was unprofessional, but the way he conducted himself, and the way he talked to me, and the way he was professional in that type of way. The way he conducted himself around me was professional. Appearance wise, unprofessional. The way he talked to me and conducted himself around me was completely 100% professional. So he fixes my tire. I go back to work. I go to my truck. I do my pre-trip, and then I go to the office. Go to the office. As soon as I walk into the damn office, I'm getting bombarded by questions about a previous trailer that I dropped off somewhere. So I'm like, okay. I walk inside the office. Immediately getting bombarded by questions about a trailer. He was like, Gus, what happened to the trailer you had the other day? And I'm like, what you mean? What trailer? I picked up a lot of trailers. And like there was one specific trailer that you had that this driver right here had that was supposed to pick up, but he didn't pick up. He's like, what happened with it? And I was like, I'm still not understanding what you're talking about. And he was like, the other driver was like, that was a trailer that you picked up and the pins was not set. And it was like, oh, that trailer. The trailer I picked up out of the rail yard that I had to bang the fuck in on the pins because I pulled containers. I pulled containers from the rail yard in Buffalo. So I went to the rail yard. That particular day I went to the rail yard, found my trailer hooked up to my trailer, did everything I was supposed to do. Did the full left side of the trailer to back side of the trailer to right side of the trailer inspection. Well, I did a full circle. From the left side, starting from my airlines to my pigtail electrical light and plug. I did the whole left side of the trailer, starting from my electrical lines or air lines. Starting from there, I did a whole inspection all the way around all the way around the left to the back of the trailer, inside the trailer. Then I did a whole inspection on the right side of the trailer, and went all the way up to the right side of the trailer to where the pin was at on the right side of the trailer. Then after that, I walked around the front of the truck. The right side of the truck did inspection, the front side of the truck did inspection, and then back around to the left side of the truck and did inspection. So I was trying to push the pin in, and the pin wouldn't go in. So I grabbed my little flashlight, grabbed my hammer, grabbed my actual hammer, and tried to tap it in. Tap, 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 tap. So normally when the pins are out on these trailers, on the containers, like on the chassis and the container, you can just take you like a little hammer and then just tap the pin in, and it'll go in perfectly. My particular trailer that I picked up that day, the chassis, the container was on the chassis, but it wasn't even, the container wasn't evenly flush on the chassis. So the container was just not even an inch. It was like an inch off, just a little bit. Like the container was just an inch off from the chassis. Like it was just not an inch off, but it was just an inch, a little bit over an inch over, just a little bit of an inch over. So I'm sitting there looking at this here. I'm like, hey, it's not even that off that much. It's off, but it's not off that much. So I was like, okay. Grab my hammer, start beating that bitch in. And this is the right side of the trailer with the right front pin. Got my hammer and just start beating that motherfucker in. And the pin was going in too, even though the chassis, even though the container was just a little bit off, like really a little bit off from the chassis, like a little bit off from the chassis. It was like the pin was able to go in, but it was barely touching the side where I couldn't push the end completely. I had to force it in for it to go, for it to set. So I grabbed my hammer I got from Harbor Freight, and I was beating the hell out of that motherfucking pin. I beat the crap out of that damn pin to the point where it went as far as I can go. I beat the shit out of that pin, man. I beat that pin so damn bad. That shit went as far as it can go, and it just stopped. It like the pin the pin was like, you just gonna beat the fuck out of me to the point I just stopped, and it just stopped. It just gave up. So okay, I'm looking underneath the container, and I'm looking at the holes, and I'm seeing like, hey, even though the pin is not set, it's in the chassis, it's in the hole of the chassis far enough where it's in there. Like it's not set, but it's in there far enough where the chassis, where the container is not coming off the chassis. So okay, it's in there, but it's not set. It's legal because the pin is not going. The container is not going to move because the pin is set. It's not set, but it's set at the same time. So okay, let me grab two zip ties so I can make sure this shit is set or somewhat set. Make it legal. So okay, got my 2 zip ties. Zipped the first zip tie on there. That went horribly wrong because I completely missed the fucking lever to the pin. So I was like, okay, no biggie. I just grabbed me a little zip tie. The second zip tie I did it perfectly. The pin was in place and everything. So okay, let me go over to the other side. Went to the right side of the container. The right front side of the container. That side went in smooth like butter. Didn't have to force it. Didn't have to beat the shit out of it. Nothing. The pin just went straight in like butter. So I told my dispatcher, I'm like, hey, yeah, I had a trailer where I had to beat the pin in. And he was like, you did? I'm like, yeah. He was like, there was complications with that trailer. I'm like, what do you mean complications with the trailer? He was like, well, apparently the pins weren't set. That's what the other drivers that was standing in the office with me. He was like, I didn't pull that trailer because it was a loaded trailer coming. It was a loaded trailer coming from Mott's, and it was a loaded trailer coming from Mott's, and I didn't take that trailer because the pins weren't set. And they were like, what happened? Did you pull a trailer out of the rail yard without setting the pins? And I'm like, no, I didn't pull a trailer out without setting the pins. I was like, when I got the trailer, I beat the crap out of that damn pin, so it will be like it, so the fucking container wouldn't come off the chassis. And I was like, if it wasn't in far enough, or if I couldn't get it in far enough for where it can be somewhat legal, I would take the damn trailer over to the yard jockeys and have them fix that shit. Have them picking up off the crane and pick the container up from the crane with the crane and set it on the chassis correctly. That's what I would have done. But I was able to beat the crap out of the pin to get it in. And he was like, okay. And the other guy was like, hey. He was like, well, when I got the trailer, the pins weren't set. Like it wasn't legal enough for me to drive. So the other driver was like, it wasn't legal enough for me to drive. So I just called in to roll service and told him I'm not taking this trailer. Not picking this trailer up. And the other driver was like, hey, when I got there, the pins wasn't set. He's like, I took pictures of it and everything. And I'm sitting there saying, like, hey, even though the pins weren't set, even though the pins weren't set, the pin was underneath the chassis far enough where the pins were in the container far enough where the container wasn't going anywhere. And I even put zip ties there to even hold it in place to make sure it wouldn't go anywhere. So the dispatchers were like, hey, even though Gus did this correctly, why you couldn't do it? Why you couldn't do it and pull the trailer out? If Gus did it correctly, why you couldn't do it correctly? If Gus did this correctly, Gus tried and he succeeded when he tried. Why you couldn't do it? So the dispatcher was looking at me like, hey, you did a good job. You beat the crap out of the pin. You put zip ties on the pin to make sure it wouldn't go nowhere. And you was literally being safe. You literally were being safe. You did a full pre-trip and you solved the problem that was going on with your trailer. So you did a good job. And he's sitting looking at the other driver and he was like, why couldn't you do the same damn thing? The other driver was like, I didn't feel like it. Hello, and I'm standing in the office looking at him saying, dude, you've been here longer than me, and yet you didn't even try to set them damn pins. You didn't even try to get that pin to you didn't even try anything with that pin. You just fucking looked at this shit and said, oh, it's not set, so I'm not taking it, and then just drove the fuck off. The dispatcher was pissed at him about that. I was kind of pissed at him too, because I was like, hey, we pretty much almost have the same equipment in our truck. I got a hammer, a soft hammer, a fucking flashlight, gloves, all this type shit. And you telling me you couldn't put forth the effort to beat the crap out of that pin if it wasn't set? Or at least beat the crap out of the pin to a point where it's somewhat legal for you to pull that bitch down the highway. You couldn't do that shit? You telling me I'm doing something that you supposed to do and you didn't fucking do it. So, like I said, even though I have a little bit over 10 years experience of driving and handling and being in different situations, and I know if I can get myself into a situation, I can get myself out of a situation by just calming down and relaxing and just thinking clearly. This, but since I am a new driver at a new company, I have to somewhat act stupid about certain things. And it's crazy. Like, I have a little bit over 10 years experience in driving and dealing with different situations. And I'm at a new company, but my experience does not matter at this new company. So I do me. If it wasn't for the two guys that I talk to on a regular basis at my job, I probably would have lost my damn mind. Like, straight up. Like, if it really wasn't for the two guys that I have conversations with on a daily basis at my job, I probably would have lost my mind. Seriously. But I had a crazy fucking day yesterday. Which, if you're watching this on a rebroadcast, Friday meaning December 4th. Friday, December 4th, 2020. I had a crazy day yesterday. The damn day was so crazy. I was supposed to start my clock at 5. I was supposed to start my shift at 5. Didn't start driving until about, actually, started my shift at 5. No, started my shift at 6. No, yeah, started my shift at 6. Made it to my pickup around 8:30. Had a whole bunch of other drivers at this particular company a business that I was at, a shipper that I was at, had multiple drivers. It's like we was only at this place all day picking up loads. And I get there at 8. I got there at 8:30. Got there late because I'm sitting there in the yard looking for empty trailers, and either the trailer that I'm looking for in the yard either is clean inside or the chassis is fucked up, or it's clean inside, it's a good trailer, but the pins outside the trailer won't set. Like yesterday, but when I was getting ready to leave, I went and hooked up to a trailer. Trailer was good. Looked at the pins. The pins weren't even set. The pins wouldn't even go into place. So like, okay, I'm not going through this shit no more. I dropped that trailer and I fucking went on about my business. I'm like, I ain't got no time. I don't have no time to deal with a fucking trailer where I can't even just easily push the pins in. I ain't got no time for that. So I just fucking dropped that bitch and went to another trailer. Dropped that motherfucker and went to another trailer. Trailer was perfectly fine. Went out to my pickup. Got to my pickup because these guys at my pickup, know me by name to name basis, which is cool. I don't mind that. You can call me my first name. It doesn't matter. It's cool. They give me a door. They gave me a door at a different part of the warehouse. Like they gave me a door at another warehouse. Same location, just different warehouse. Like I was at a different motherfucking warehouse. Literally. And it took them about an hour and a half to load me. Like I made this video before in my truck with my Samsung phone, but I end up fucking leaving my Samsung phone in my truck before I left out this morning, which is Saturday, because I got home Saturday morning, which is today. I end up leaving my fucking Samsung phone in my car. So I made this video before in my truck, but I couldn't do nothing with it because I ain't got my cell phone. It's in the truck. So this is why I'm making this live now. But as you can see, it's working out. It's working out pretty good. But yeah, yesterday was crazy. From beginning of my day to the end of my day was insane, man. Like I had so much stuff going on that was crazy. It wasn't even funny. Had so much crazy shit going on yesterday. It was crazy yesterday how much stuff I had going on. It was just nonsense. It was crazy. I was on the verge of fucking calling my dispatcher, telling him I'm going home. I'm not coming in. I'll take a PTO day for that shit. That's how fucking stressed out I was yesterday because of all the bull crap that was going on. I was literally fucking pissed the fuck off. I was literally going through some things yesterday. But yet again, what brightened up my day yesterday was me just having conversations with my homeboys at work. We laughing and joking, talking about certain things at work. We doing guy talk. And it made me feel a whole lot better. Like the rest of my day until I got off was almost a little bit decent. So it was all right. Like now since I got me a 3-month DOT card, I'm going to be exercising again. So I asked my wife, would she be all right with me losing a lot of weight again, looking like I'm a teenager again. And she was like, yeah, I'll be all right with it. She was telling me that she was gonna start exercising with me. Now, when I exercise, I do a crazy intense exercising. So I don't know if my wife gonna be able to handle what I do. Cause when I do something, I go hard. I don't. When I do something, I go hard at it. When I sit there and tell you, when I was exercising last year, I think I went from like 206 down to like 160, 170 in a matter of 3 months. I was looking like a teenager. And I'm fucking 34 years old. I'm 34 years old. And I was exercising 4 months straight 4 months straight of exercising, I was looking like a damn teenager. My wife and I, my wife and I, my wife and I took my wife's sister to the casino up here to get a drink. I'm walking into the motherfucking casino. We're all walking into this casino together. I happened to see an older couple walk past the security guard that was checking for IDs to make sure everybody was age legal to be in there. So I'm like, okay, I'm walking, I'm seeing these two older people in front of me just walk right in. Didn't even check them. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I did the same thing. I walked right past their ass. He was like, sir, stop. I need to check the ID. I'm like, okay. If you need to check my ID, you need to check their ID too. And she was like, I don't need to check their ID. I'm like, why not? They're human beings just like I am, right? So why you not checking their ID? And she gave me the whole run around and bullcrap and stuff like that. And I was like, no, you're not checking my ID. And I just left. I just left. Me looking like a teenager in the motherfucking casino, refusing to give the motherfucking security guard my license to prove how old I am. There was fucking security surrounding me in the fucking casino, asking me questions and shit like, let me see your ID and how old are you and what you doing here? These motherfuckers sat there and said, I don't look like my age. That said, you look a whole lot younger than 34. And I was like, yo, I talked to the damn lady who was checking IDs at the door of the casino, and she was like, sir, I wanted to check your ID because you don't look like you're supposed to be in here. You look like a damn teenager. And I was like, don't you realize I'm looking at her and I'm like, stop it. I'm 34 years old. I'm 34 fucking years old. She was like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm 34 years old. She was like, well, you don't look like you 34 years old. You look like you a fucking teenager. And I was like, wow. And my wife came up to me and she was like, dude, you crazy. My wife walked up to me and said, you crazy. She was like, why didn't you just show them your ID to begin with? And I was like, why should I? She didn't check the people ID that was in front of me. She just let them walk on in. So why can't I just walk on in? I learned my lesson that day. I learned my lesson that fucking if the security guards want to fucking rampage your ass, they'll do it. But see, this time what made me fall off on my exercising and me keeping my blood pressure down was the coronavirus. I was exercising from September to December. No, from September to February. A little bit after February, closer to March. I was exercising every single day from September to February. Exercising every day straight outside my truck, doing exercising in 30-degree weather. I live in Buff, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Buffalo. I live in Buffalo, New York. And I'm outside in 30-degree weather, exercising outside my motherfucking truck, exercising in 30-degree weather. When I sit there and tell you I lost so much weight and I was looking so much like a teenager, I'm not even bullshitting you. I'm telling you straight up truth. I was looking like a fucking teenager. Hell, if it wasn't for the fucking coronavirus hitting in fucking March, I still would have probably been exercising right now, looking like one of my damn kids. Face all fucking skin. I mean, face all skinny and shit, all toned and shit. I probably would have been looking like one of my motherfucking kids. But see, this time around, I'm not gonna stop exercising. This time I'm gonna continue to exercise and continue to improve my lifestyle. Like, my lifestyle right now is good. It's not bad. It's good. But I'm trying to improve my lifestyle in a type of way where I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. I want to grow my Twitch and my YouTube channel more. I want to do some things. Like, I literally want to do some things and achieve goals. I was starting to get my credit back straight again. Started paying off some stuff that I should have been fucking paid for. I'm doing it now. I was literally on the path of starting to get my stuff back straight again, so I can buy my family a house. And this 3-month DOT card kind of shaking it up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I can pull through it and get a normal 1 year or 2 year DOT card. But it's just wow. Like, yesterday was just crazy for me. It was just nuts. So yeah, that's my story of what happened yesterday with my DOT physical. My DOT physical was insane yesterday. If you have any comments, or you just want to ask me a few questions about not my DOT physical, or not about my DOT physical, but any and the requirements, leave it in the comment below. I don't mind answering you guys' questions. Like, that's what I'm here for as a truck driver, as a professional truck driver. And I'm still currently active as a professional truck driver. I'm still out here in these streets, pulling them loads, delivering, picking up and delivering that freight, keeping America moving. I don't mind answering you questions if you have questions about something, because I don't mind giving that information to what I know. I don't mind giving people information to the things that I know that could potentially help them. I don't mind doing that. So leave me a comment down below. Get involved with the video. Like, skip through it, watch it, whatever. Do you. Leave a comment. I get back to you. Probably within that day, or probably the next day, depending on how YouTube, because this video is going up on YouTube. Even though Twitch, I'm going to download it and I'm going to edit it and then I'm going to put it on YouTube. So even though this video is going to be on YouTube as well, I check out the comments on my past videos and stuff like that, and I do respond to those comments. So this is a Silver Trucker, aka Reviews with Daniel, signing out. And all I gotta say is, if you're a trucker, keep those wheels turning. If you are a fellow or if you are a fellow streamer, keep that camera rolling. You know what I'm saying? If you are a viewer, support the channel, enjoy yourself, and just have fun, baby. Just have fun. Just have fun. Oh yeah, leave me a comment on my background back here. Like I wanna use this as my background. Like I gotta put up my Miles Morales poster, but I want to use this as my background. If I do use this as my like if I use this, when I use this as my permanent background, I'm gonna move my desk around and position my desk to a certain way where you guys can see that in the background. I could slide the camera around and let you guys see my my setup right here. Now let's stop. You know what? I could slide it around. I could. But I'll do it next time. Because I'm in the attic. So I'm in my attic. So it's not just my equipment and stuff up here. It's other stuff up here as well. So it's not just me. It's not just my equipment. It's other stuff up here as well. So I will do it next time when I have my my desk and stuff positioned correctly. But I'm about to get ready to get off or end this live stream, and I'm gonna restart a new live stream, and I'm gonna be streaming my Star Wars again. So I want to finish that game. I want to finish Star Wars, and then I'm gonna hop on some of that Firefighter Simulator, and I'm gonna hop on that the Dakota or something like that. Was it Dute 2 Duty 2 or some shit like that. I'm gonna hop on that. So I'm thinking about, like I said before at the beginning of this live stream, I'm thinking about buying that Monster Hunter. You know what I mean? Like that Monster Hunter look. Like I bought Monster Hunter on my wife's. No, I bought Monster Hunter on my son's Xbox. So I have Monster Hunter in my possession on my son's Xbox, but I want to play this on my PC. And they're charging $30 for it on Steam. So I don't know, I might end up copping that tonight and playing it tomorrow. But I don't know, I gotta see. Oh yeah, and answering the question to you guys, about my tire. I had to buy me a new tire this morning. I had to literally buy me a new tire this morning. So that cost me about $120 something for the new tire. That was for the tire, the mounting, and the balancing of that tire. So that was taken care of. So alright, this is Silver Trucker, aka Reviews with Daniel, signing out.
Yo, I just wanna rap. This other beam me up to the mothership. I ain't from it anyway. Practice freestyles on Renegade.